What? Did you interrupt the intro?
Yeah. No, I was going to say I always mess up when it says quick resume for the beat. But
why?
You know what? Carry on with your intro. You good. You good.
Okay. Well, I just thought I'd say, just thought I'd welcome everyone. It's welcome back to QRP. It's obviously the best podcast on the internet. The most mediocre podcast on the internet. My name is Deck. I'm Bad Juju. This is my very, very illuminating co-host, Eric O'Buise. Hi, Tim. How are we today?
Illuminating.
Yeah, I'm going to start just using like random adjectives to describe you week by week.
Illuminating based on my background.
Yes.
Stuff. Yeah.
That would
There's nothing to do with my personality.
Well, I mean, it's neither here nor there. It could
to
be
be
both.
fair, I am pretty dry when it comes to personality, but
but
yeah,
my dank co-host.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. Sick. Really not.
I'm good, man.
Not looking.
I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit tired. It's we're recording this towards the end of a Sunday evening, so
yeah,
I've been and done with my weekend and starting to settle down for the work week. So
yeah,
on my poor performance.
Yeah, you're gonna be slurring. On any other week, I'd have been like, yeah, let's do this on a different day. But so much has happened this week, and I think it is this week that Apex comes out as the season 10. So it's just a bit busy in the week. But it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. So you're okay. You're tired. It's Sunday. It's cool, man. We vibing. We've got. I'm actually really excited. I'm really excited. I'm hoping my energy levels are going to pick up as we start talking because it's been a pretty cool week.
Yeah.
I am hanging out of my bumhole. I had so many shots. I had, tequila, sambuca, vodka, the bunch. I made so many friends who I'm never going to speak to again. It's one of those nights, one of those nights.
Did you just go out in Birmingham? Did you?
Bristol.
Bristol. Oh, cool.
Yeah, we went down to Bristol. We had like an Airbnb for the night.
Nice.
Yeah, sick, man. But that's kind of my story. Yeah. So, but it's been a huge week, mate. There's Xbox Krispy Kremes. There's the Ascent has launched. So is Flight Simulator. There's Halo. There's Forza.
I mean, you could just stop the episode of the Xbox Krispy Kremes, mate.
We
could just talk about that for like an hour and a half.
And easy. I could. Don't put it past me. I could do that. I wonder what's going to be inside it.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was literally just going to say, while we're just there, this is the story I came here for.
Yeah.
What is it just going to be like? It looks like it's just going to be a standard cream filling, right? Based on the image I'm looking at, it's just going to be like a cream donut, I think. But it's still pretty cool.
Bets are on. I'll have to have a look. I reckon it's going to be like. I think it'll be green. I think it'll be green on the inside, so I reckon it'll be like lime. Something like filling.
I don't think they'll do that
because they did that for like Halloween.
Liquid.
I don't know, man. I think it'll be green.
If I bit into a donut, even Xbox themed, and just a load of green sludge came out of it, I would be it would turn me off quite a bit.
It's just a bunch of snot.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird, and it's just colouring, just thrown in there as well. And like, I'm not a big fan of just consuming colouring.
That wouldn't be if it was lime. No, I mean not necessarily.
That'd be disgusting. Ugh.
No, it's not, man. It's not. I've had it's just like like you've had a lemon donut or whatever. Lemon drizzle cake.
Yeah, again, disgusting. But yeah, Donuts.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we're probably not going to talk about that more. Like, how much more can you talk about a donut?
But it's definitely a show opener. We can both agree on that.
Oh, I 100% agree. Yeah. Sick. I mean, talk to me, buddy. How's the week been? Are we playing games or are we just floating existentially through space, not really doing anything?
Well, I'm doing a little bit of both. I prefer not to talk about the latter. I think that's a different kind of podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been gaming, but just nothing too spicy this week, to be honest. Just on the back of all the season 10 hype for Apex Legends, I've been kind of looking forward to that. and you know when there's something coming up, it just
Yeah,
kind
slouch.
of makes it kind of just makes you feel like that's the only game you kind of want to play,
Yeah.
you know. So like, I did boot up and play a little bit of Death's Door some more. Um, little fire rhyme right there. And it was it's still pretty good. I don't have much more to say on the game. I did beat my first big boss,
Oh, cool.
because you have to like it's one of those classic things where the story is just like there's like three big souls that you need to collect, and these souls will power the door for you to get out. You know, it's that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
done one of the big souls. I tell you, you saw it in the trailer. It was the that witch looking lady that's like spinning around, the giant
Yeah, yeah,
witch.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, maybe an hour or two more. I've sunk into it this week, so not too crazy. And yeah, just playing Apex, and the normal sort of work routine. Um, and yeah, I've just been a little bit
Wonderful.
more tired because I haven't been working from home so much this week, and it means I get home later and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but apart from that, I'm good, man. I'm
I mean,
good.
have you
How?
been like, other than playing games, have you been like, is there any like particular bits of news that you've seen this week?
Well, obviously we'll probably dive into this a little bit later, but obviously the Halo flighting came out,
Yeah,
which I didn't get an invite to.
yeah. Yeah, that does
I was
suck,
about to
man,
say
because
Bungie, 343.
fucking Bungie. It probably
Um,
is Bungie's fault, to be fair.
Fucking Bungie. It's
Everything's
always their fault. Yeah.
Bungie's fault.
But yeah, so I shit you not. I mean, this guy was in the same room as me. I signed up for that flighting like 30 minutes after it was announced live at E3. Like,
Yeah.
give me my invite, bro. This
Yeah.
is dog shit.
Who
I've
do
checked,
you
like,
have to
every
suck
email.
off to get in?
Exactly. Yeah. And I sucked off a decent amount already. I didn't think I need to do more.
I'm like
But,
halfway through the Xbox team.
yeah, it's
Honestly.
insane, man. This shit's so corrupt.
Nepotism, yeah.
But yeah, so that kind of bummed me out. But obviously, I've been watching some gameplay on it, and you little shit got an invite somehow. Man,
I'm very
sucking way
valuable.
more dick than me.
I've got a very
We
valuable
both
opinion.
share such an insane platform and an outreach to people, so I don't
Yeah.
really understand why.
I wonder if it
didn't get
was.
it.
Yeah, because some people have been saying it's random, and we'll never know. But like, I reckon there must be some algorithm. There must be something. I mean, I fucking know. But yeah, it does suck.
Yeah.
It would have been nice for us to have both been able to have played it and spoke about it. But
Yeah,
that's fine as
but
well, because a lot of our viewers or listeners, whatever, aren't going to played it. So I think it'll be nice for them to hear your like how do things feel versus how do they look, kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, you can get it from both perspectives. There's someone looking in and someone actually playing it, I guess. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, and then obviously again we'll probably talk about more about this, but the Ascent came out as well, didn't it? So
It did.
those are all sort of gaming news that have piqued my interest throughout the week.
Wicked.
And I'm sure you'll throw many more at me in this episode as well.
Of course,
Just,
it's my prerogative. I will do that.
yeah. I feel like
and
this podcast is just you just throwing news at me to see my reaction. And just be like, what do you think of this?
I'm just going to start making shit up one day.
Yeah.
But to be fair, over the last year, if I had told you some of the stuff that Xbox have been doing, it's getting harder and harder to tell the difference between reality and like a trick. Xbox releases a song about Games Pass. Xbox releases a Krispy Kreme donut. What are you doing, guys?
Xbox loses a bet with Skittles and manufactures a mini fridge.
Yeah, makes a fridge. Yeah, put down the Coke, guys. White powder on their faces. Yeah, cool, man.
It's the Krispy Kreme powdered sugar, I swear.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask because it's obviously been not just games, there's been like gaming industry stuff, and there's been some PlayStation stuff as well, which I do want to cover if we have time. But that's like you said, this Ascent and Halo is probably some of the biggest things on the Xbox side.
Yes. Yeah.
On my end, because I know I cut you off there before you're going to ask me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had a good week. I've just been playing Apex. Really with you. I think have I played anything else this week? Yeah, I'm still chugging away at
Done a
Mass
bit.
Effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously I've been playing a bit of between between passing out and being just stone cold drunk. Um, I have been playing the Halo Flighting as well, so we've got some tasty impressions for you, exclusive take. And actually, one of the actually biggest bits of news, which was a bit weird because it was leaked a while ago, but I didn't think it was real, was that the Outer Wilds is getting DLC. Not the Outer Worlds,
Mm.
not the Obsidian game, the indie one. I don't know if I've said this to you before. I know I've spoken to you about Outer Wilds before, but Outer Wilds is actually one of my favorite games of all time. That game is a fucking masterpiece, and it's I
Mm.
find it hard to describe how good that game is and what it does to me. The soundtrack is like god tier. I don't know, man. It's so good. I'm a bit skeptical of the DLC because the game was so self-contained and so good. I'm sure it'll be great, but I just wanted to signal boost Outer Wilds again because fuck me, there's
Mm.
nothing like it. It's another one of those games that's like could only exist as a video game, couldn't do it as anything else. So yeah, that happened.
Um, you're gonna be honest. I have no idea what it's even about. The Outlaws. I literally I can picture the logo, but apart from that, I for whatever reason I just stayed clear of it. I
Mm.
don't know how or why, but
It's fuck. Words help. The synopsis, I guess, is that you're an alien, and uh, after 23 minutes of playing the game, the universe explodes, and then you wake up, and then after 23 minutes, the universe explodes, and then you wake up, and you have to in your solar system, um, you like float, you like fly from planet to planet in your spaceship, and you like go to these different planets. And you like learn about this ancient race. This isn't spoilers, and like what they were up to like ages ago. And you learn more in that same loop. So it's one of those games that you could technically pick it up for the first time and finish it in 23 minutes. There's no like barriers. You just the progress is the knowledge you make. And then as you do that, you're like, by the 15th minute, I've got to go there and get that done. 17th minute, I've got to be back here. So things like that. And then eventually you get a perfect run. There's no like combat or anything. It's just exploration. But it's amazing, man. It's amazing. I probably completed it in like 8
23 minutes.
hours. 2 minutes, yeah. But yeah, that's the synopsis. If that, I would say, even if it's not your kind of thing, I would just have a look at it. I mean, it might not be because it doesn't click. That sort of game doesn't click with anyone. Like I said, there's no combat, but it is sensational when there's nothing like it. It's very existential, and that shit hits me. That slaps me. Yeah. So that's me. I mean, I guess I'll put it to you, mate. What would you like to talk about first? We got things. There are things to talk about.
All right. There are things. I mean,
there are many things.
I mean, we might as well not mess with the list, right? Otherwise, it'll be hard to. I mean, we're both a bit tired and groggy, so let's just go with the list. Let's talk about Microsoft Flight Simulator and how you've been flying planes into our houses.
I'm a terrorist. I've taken out so many people. Yeah, I have taken out your house. I've taken out my own house. Mum and dad gone off the face of the earth. It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing they render in the human models and everything. I mean, the first thing I asked when I said, "How's Microsoft Flight Simulator?" You were like, "Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's nice." I flew into my own house and blew it up, and yeah, it's pretty fun. That was it. That was it.
You have to. It's like a rite of passage
on Opencritic, and this fucking man just says, "Like, yeah, I flew into my own house."
Yeah.
Good game.
Yeah, you could fly into your own shit. I guess it's cool. I mean, what are your impressions? I mean, obviously, game that we already knew was like masterpiece level. It's still masterpiece level for a sim. You know, if you're not a sim person, fine. But as a sim, it's like 92 on Opencritic, and that didn't change.
Yeah.
With the release on console, which does surprise me a bit because I was expecting the reviews to be hit like a bit worse, just because it's a
A little
well-known.
bit lower.
Yeah, because the performance on like two grand PCs still difficult, whereas it performs really nicely on the Series X and especially the Series S. So like props to the team, Sobo and Xbox really. 92 Opencritic is ludicrous. That's the highest rated. I mean, it's also the first next gen game that we've got from Xbox Game Studios. Can't play this on Xbox
Yeah.
One, I'm afraid. No carpet bombing your mate's house on Xbox One.
Yeah, the only thing blowing up would be your Xbox One if you
Exactly.
booted this game up.
It would just take off and detonate like a bouncing Betty.
Oh god.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say about it. It's hard to. It's not. My brain's just not working. Yeah. It obviously it's gorgeous. I mean, if you've seen Flight Simulator, you know what it is. You fly planes. That's it. There's like lots of planes. There's lots of locations. You can literally, if you don't know, most of the game is streamed from Bing Maps. So it's like the geography is like pretty much perfect. Like to the road. Like you can follow roads and like get to places from like where you've been. From like where rather. It's cool. I was kind of interested. There's like free flies. There's like I don't know what they call them, like exotic flights where it literally just plops you in somewhere cool, like Bora Bora, or like the pyramids of Egypt, shit like that. But you just like
That's
you
cool.
just like kind of look at all and how pretty it is.
Just it just takes you to a natural scenic route you might wanna
Yeah,
do.
and there's
Yeah,
like
that's
obviously
cool.
there's like loads of switches and buttons and shit for like the people who are really into the sim side of it, but there is like an easy mode
Mm,
where it's just like we'll do it for you, just have a good time.
yeah.
So
All I
obviously
need
I've
to
just
know
been
is
doing that.
my fuel
Yeah.
counter. That's it.
And there's like a type of thing where there's like loads of challenges and stuff, like the kind of game side of it where it's like it like plops you to like make a landing. And that was surprisingly fun. I did it. I gave it a go twice, and I've been meaning to give it another go just because it was like quite bite sized. It was like 10 minutes. It's like 5 minutes of like trying to line yourself up perfectly, which I did. And then I came in and forgot to slow down, so I just approached the runway at like 150
Max
miles an hour.
speed.
Yeah,
Nice.
and like it just cut to black, and I was like, "You died." I was like, "For fuck's sake!" I thought I had this. Yeah, it was surprising. So I'm actually excited to see what more of them there were. But yeah, there's things like that. So there are like game things to it. But I mean, it is phenomenal. Like it's phenomenal. It looks ridiculously good. It plays well. The frames are a bit like it's unlocked at 30, I think. So I think on Series X it like fluctuates between 30 and 40. But it's not a high response game, so you can't really tell.
Yeah.
It's not like a twitchy game. The only thing is that because of the way it works with the streaming of the assets from Bing, is that when you get really close, like to the floor, some of the buildings and stuff starts to look like shit. Like it looks like
Okay.
a PS1 model, but it's because
All right.
it's literally streamed in. So because you can go to anywhere in the world, you can literally just go there, like you point it in. So of course everything's not handmade,
Yeah.
but yeah, there are lots of places which look really real. And then there are some places which aren't. But generally, if you're flying like at a normal height, you can't tell, and it looks gorgeous. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Have you haven't downloaded it, have you?
No. I mean,
It's
the
huge. So
thing, yeah, for anyone who does want to download it, set aside a day because it's 100 plus gig. So
it's
it's like
130.
110
Yeah.
gig, 130 gig. Yeah, so it's a beast of a game. No, I haven't installed it mainly because one, I just don't have that space on my internal right now that I kind of want to make for that because it's not, I don't mean it any disrespect, but it's not exactly my cup of tea. I mean, I think at some point I will boot it up just for the visual sake of it.
Yeah.
But it's not that high on my list. And yeah, it's just an insane amount of my storage that I
Yeah.
can't really afford to give up right now. But yeah, obviously I do appreciate what it is and what it does. And obviously it just doesn't really cater to everybody, and I'm kind of one of those people. But
For sure.
I definitely props to them because it's insane. and it looks great. And yeah, they worked some absolute wizardry to get it running so well on our home consoles.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And this is
good
like,
stuff.
I think you knew this, but like the developer is Asobo, which is obviously the same team that did A Plague's Tale. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. Okay. Which is
Mm.
obviously like what? What? I'm sorry. What? How do
It's
you go
basically the
from?
same game.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. So I mean, that team is like obviously really talented. It's been one of the teams that like have been pegged for a possible acquisition, but Xbox have like a 10-year deal with them to like make games for them, and that's what obviously Flight Simulator is. Plague's Tale 2 isn't, but it is coming to date Games Pass, so just things like that. But anyway, yeah, really happy for the team. The game's amazing. It's kind of crazy to have a game like that on a console because it's just the tech of it is just amazing. It's just
Yeah,
amazing. Like you when you boot it up and you're flying around, you're kind of like, what the fuck? Like, is this real?
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, huge congratulations to the team. Pretty exciting to have such a big exclusive on Xbox. When was the last time we got a 90 plus exclusive on Xbox? I don't even know.
Ooh,
Death's
it's been
Door
a
was
little while.
almost there. It dropped into the high 80s. I think
Yeah,
Ori was like maybe did it crack 90?
I think Ori did. I'm pretty sure Ori did.
I think it was
Definitely
sitting
Will
at
o' the
like
Wisps. I
88 or
think cracked
89.
90.
I don't know. I don't think it did. Um,
Mm, yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's
Gonna
cool. That's
fact
cool.
check that.
Yeah, and then I forgot this was a first party pie. I forgot this whole section is a first party pie. So we've got
Mhm.
the Ascent. I mean, obviously not a first party game, but Xbox uh,
Yeah, Ori
publishing.
was 90 on
Oh, was it on
Opencritic.
Opencritic or
Yeah, yeah.
Metacritic? Mm,
Open.
right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and that was Willow Wisps as
Willow
well.
Wisps. Yeah. Sure.
Not the first one.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah. Anyway,
games
carry on.
fantastic. Yeah. Good ship. Good ship. Yeah. First party pie. So the Ascent came out this week as well.
Hmm.
It was, and this was kind of weird to me. I don't know if you've like watched any reviews, but I when it came out, I had it like on my YouTube feed, and I like watched the ACG review, watched the Skill Up, and they were like really positive. They were like, "This is like one of the best games I've played all year. Amazing, amazing, amazing." I was like, "Jesus, wow, this game's going to be really like to have really good reviews." And I went to Opencritic and it was like 75, and I was like, what's happened here?
Yeah.
So it turns out it's got quite mixed reviews. I got on Opencritic, it's sitting at 74 at the moment. I mean, good. I guess I was just, maybe it's a bit unfair to have like those expectations on such a small team of 12 or whatever. But there is one particularly egregious review from Metro that was a 3 out of 10.
Ugh. What the fuck? What the, this is where I feel like this has been a thing in the past as well, isn't it? Where these sort of journalists and companies sort of fucking throw their reviews very different to others just to get more clicks and to get more attention. So they're like, everyone else is giving it sevens and eights. We're gonna drop a 3, and people will click on our article to see why.
Yeah,
You know,
rage. It's
like
like rage bait, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I feel like it's probably a case of that, to be honest. Because how could the
A
disparity be
3,
so
like, come the
large?
fuck on. Like that's a game that
Yeah,
barely works.
exactly. Yeah, I've seen. I mean, like fucking Balan Wonderworld got like 3s and 4s. You telling me that's on the same level as Balan Wonderworld,
Yeah,
the game that
absolutely.
chugged at 10 frames on PS1 graphics?
Yeah.
It's a joke, man.
So that is a bit weird, and it's a bit of a shame because ACG and Skill Up don't do scores, and that's their program. You know, that's their thing. That's what they do. That's fine, but it just means that it doesn't influence the Open Critic score. So it
Yeah,
sucks that someone like Metro has power review like that, and that's pulling the average down. I mean, let's face it, it'd probably only change it a few points here or there, but
yeah.
still, you know, by the sounds of it, they'd be giving it like a 9 or higher, which
Mhm.
would help pull it up. So,
But then
um,
these people are huge influencers anyway. Skill Up, and
yeah,
I don't know about SG, but Skill Up gets like a solid 500k like views on that video. So like anyone who was on the fence about buying it and hears praise like that coming from him, they're going to purchase the game. So
yeah,
regardless of the Open Critic, he's you know he's making waves
yeah.
for it.
Did
So
you see the review?
I didn't know, and Yeah, I've kind of steered clear of reviews, mainly because I know we want to play it,
Hmm.
and play it together. And I know a lot of reviews to me are like movie trailers. Sometimes I feel like I've kind of played the game once it's done, especially
Sure.
Skill Up. As you know, as much as
That's just
I watch a lot of his
comprehensive.
videos, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very comprehensive. He spends like a good 30-40 minutes just really going into this game. And I feel like I kind of played it by the time it's done. So I think I'll boot it up
Fair
and
enough.
play a few hours with you or something, and then I'll probably watch Skill Up's review, because I do watch all of his reviews on games, and yeah, he's kind of one of my favorite YouTube reviewers. To be honest, he's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's pretty
No, he's
good.
good, man. Props to you, Skill
Um,
Up.
yeah, Skill Up, contact us, be on
Yeah,
our podcast.
hit us up. Yeah, come
Um,
for a podcast.
yeah. But so I've kind of been steering clear of it, because I know we want to play it.
What
But
have you
yeah,
heard?
basically what we've talked about, just the open critic, the mixed reception, really good, kind of average, and then I didn't know about that 3 from Metro. That's a joke. But yeah, I kind of knew it released kind of shit hot and kind of lukewarm at the same time, and just kind of evened out.
Mm. I mean, is this sort of score like what you were expecting, or like what were you expecting of it? Because it's a bit of a
I
curveball, the
mean,
Ascent.
yeah, if I were to give it a score based on what I've seen trailer wise, and we watched a lot of the dev diaries and stuff like that, um, I probably would have said it would settle around the mid 70s, maybe low 80s.
Hmm.
So it doesn't surprise me too much. What surprises me actually is the massive amounts of praise from people like Skill Up. I wouldn't have anticipated people to be like, "This is one of my favorite games of the
That,
year."
yeah.
9 out of 10. Um, great. That's awesome that it is, in those guys' eyes. But yeah, if I were to put a pin in it around sort of mid 70s, 80s, based on what I saw leading up to its launch.
I was hopeful it would hit 8. There's not much in it. So again, it's one of those things like if ACG and Skill Up did have a score and we ignored that Metro score and took the median maybe instead of the mean, to erase that fucking outlier of a review, then maybe it'd be coming up to sort of
Mhm.
77, 78. But whatever, this is just numbers. But yeah, I kind of agree. I was hoping it would kind of hit 8, especially because a lot of the previews that we had like a couple of weeks ago were really positive. Like,
Mhm.
previews a preview, and I think from what I've heard, like some of the downsides of the game is like some of the progression is like a bit iffy and maybe a bit unbalanced, and a bit not as meaningful as it could be. Um, like the RPG elements, but yeah. So I am still quite excited to play this. I'm still very excited to play this. From what I've heard, it's like sort of 8 to 10 hour campaign. Works wonders for me. I don't need another Diablo right now. Um, and uh, it looks everywhere I've like read is that it looks absolutely astounding. And I've seen it on
Mm.
videos, but you can only get so much from
It
videos.
did look very pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, so the people have said like it's one of the best looking games this year, which is with Flight Simulator and the Ascent coming out in the last week. That's some pretty good looking games.
Hmm.
Um, but overall, like it's still a good debut from Neon Giant. Like they're obviously an indie team made up of vets, which is something, by the way, which is happening more and more. There's like lots of like small teams popping up, which are like splinter groups of like industry veterans. It's been happening quite
Yeah.
a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, because at the beginning of Skill Up's review, he was like, if I was Xbox or PlayStation right now, I'd be on the phone to be like acquiring Neon Giant. Like that's how much praise he gave it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, it's cool, man. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And yeah, it's a hell of a debut game for them. Um, you know, even if I know everyone will look at the Open Critic score and the Metacritic score and stuff like that and be like, oh, mid 70s. But, I think, that dev team has probably seen so many of these reviews from these YouTubers and stuff like that. And, it's probably made them feel nice and warm and fuzzy. People
Hmm.
actually appreciate the game, for more than what it is at face value.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, props to them.
Yeah,
They've done a
totally.
fantastic job, and I look forward to playing your game. We
Yeah,
should set some
definitely.
time aside for that. In between Apex Season 10,
This is then, yeah.
in
There's
between
never
the
time.
addiction.
There's
Yeah,
never anything else. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Yeah. Fuck. What was I gonna say? Oh damn it! God damn it! I forgot.
I was talking about their debut and it being great, and their
That's what I was. Oh, shit! I was just gonna say it's on Games Pass. That's literally it.
oh
It's on
yeah.
Games Pass.
That's just,
Yeah.
we don't even need to say that. It's just
Yeah, it's just by default.
by default everything is on Games Pass.
Yeah. Assume it is unless stated otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, dead excited to play that, so we'll do. Scores are a little bit lower than I think we maybe expected, a little bit, but there were some, like you said, shit hot reviews in there. There were like 1 or 2 10s, a couple of 9s as well, so yeah, whatever. Exciting stuff. Next up, in the first party pie pants. Why are you so dark? Where have you gone?
I
You just dissipated into the shadows. Oh, nice.
It's my screen is lighting up in the majority of my room. So for anyone watching this podcast, my main light in my room has broken, so I'm using my LED strips, a fire in the background, and a mini lamp over there, and then my screen. So that's kind of why I'm also wearing my blue light glasses, so this screen doesn't burn out my eyes in the pitch black.
I can't believe you don't just have a jar of fireflies like in the cupboard. I do.
Yeah, what is this? Were you fucking Owl City or something? What's going on?
Yeah, just in case, man.
A jar of 10 million billion fireflies.
Yeah, exactly. Screaming. So there was some Forza shit as well. I don't know if you saw this. There was some Forza shit. They've been doing like dev diaries, some of like audio stuff, and they did some other stuff as well. And there was some. I've got the link there if you want to have a quick look on it. But some absolutely gorgeous like screenshots of the game. You cannot convince me that they're not real screenshots. Like it's too good. But what the main takeaway was from the newest dev diary is that there are 11 biomes, ranging from canyons to farmland, jungle, desert, coast, swamp, urban city, volcano. I think we saw some of that in the E3 trailer as well. But if you get a chance, go and have a look at those. They're on their Twitter.
Now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
There's so much detail.
The swamp. The swamp. My god, that looks stunning.
Swamp.
Oh my god.
Like,
the algae on the water. Oh my goodness. Jiminy crickets, bro. That's the first time you'll ever hear me say Jiminy crickets. That's just how shocked I am.
Yeah, that's how you know he's impressed, when he pulls out the old JC.
Oh my god, and the farmland. It's like Ghost of Tsushima. Wait, Ghost of Tsushima wishes it looked that good.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
That game does look good.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even shade.
Oh my god.
It's nuts, isn't it? It's absolutely nuts.
That's insane. Nah, I'm actually convinced they're not.
I think. Can you imagine if they just took photos of
official QR?
Yeah, they just went and took photos, and they're like, "Yeah, this is in game. No biggie.
Yeah. This is in game. Pre-order now."
Yeah.
Get games pass.
Yeah. So that happened, and obviously it looks great. So I mean, this is like, we're getting lots of good-looking games at the very least. Oh, I've just booted it up as well. Fuck me, it looks so good.
The swamp is by far the best looking one.
There's like a GIF at the
imagine
top.
If like Microsoft were just like, hey, who makes Microsoft Flight Simulator again?
Asobo.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, why don't you touch dicks with Playground Games and make another Flight Simulator like these. Imagine these two like working together, because they're so good at scenery. Yeah, Playground Games. It's disgusting.
It wouldn't surprise me if they did end up expanding Flight Simulator into just like a full-on vehicle simulator. Like you could just drive around the world, like how you can with flying around the world. But,
no, for sure.
I'm trying to find that swamp one now
Oh,
because it's...
wait, it's just on the link you said. If you
yeah, yes,
you
it's
have,
just
and you just scroll down.
my computer's just being a twat. It's just taking ages. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
Oh wow.
It's by far the best in my
Look
opinion.
out.
It just looks absolutely incredible.
I'm gonna have to put this on
And to be
screen
fair,
in the post.
yeah, we might do. We might need to do a little bit of editing and throw some of those on.
That's fine. Look at like the
And zoom
depth
into my
of the
jaw drop
twigs
face.
on the floor. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like
Yeah.
flat. They've got depth, like individual depth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I could step on them. I could hear the crunching.
Yeah.
I
love
yeah,
it.
that looks insane, man.
Gorgeous.
Like, I'm very, very excited for Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah. Forza Horizon.
You know, for more than just the fact that it just looks amazing. Like, I'm quite excited for that custom game feature. Like,
Oh yeah.
like Forge essentially in Forza. I think that was such a cool idea. And will really add a lot more sort of creative fun and sort of, because I mean it takes away from the racing sim and makes it a bit more fun, and that to me is just them leaning even more into the fun aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool, so I'm very excited for that. And obviously it's Games Pass, so hacks, bro.
Can't hurt.
Can't remember the last time I spent money on games.
Death's Door.
I spent, yeah, that's true.
Resident Evil.
Way to just cockblock me there. Right,
Revenant's Heirloom. Sorry.
God, don't remind me. Revenant's Heirloom. That was a dark day for me. I don't know why I bought that. I don't even play him. All right. Anyway,
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Moving
Up
on.
next. So I mean, maybe I'll move this to the bottom. Actually, there was the previous CEO of PlayStation, Sean Layden, he left at the beginning of or the end of the last gen, and Jim Ryan took over. Generally, pretty chill guy. He went on the record. He had an interview this week. It was a bit weird. He said a couple of weird things, I would say. A bit weird, maybe a bit controversial. I think maybe we'll come back to it, though, because I've got kind of a Sony section at the end. Like I said, if we've got time, I'd like to speak about it, but it seems a bit weird to just talk about it here. But we will come back around to that, you know, including the possibility of Horizon Forbidden West being delayed and PlayStation giving you like an 18-step guide for how to expand your storage. It's pretty
Whoa,
pretty shit. If I'm going to be honest,
it's shit. Is it?
Well, it's just so complicated. You need to take the console apart, like with the screw.
Oh,
because they don't have proprietary
yes.
shit. They're like, oh, here's a list of ones you can maybe use. Also, if you're getting a good one, you need to buy a separate heatsink and like staple it to the PlayStation.
Great.
I know.
Isn't the entire point of buying a home console that
Yes.
you get it, you plug it in, you're done. Otherwise, we'd all be PC gamers. Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, I could be a PC gamer. I know how to build a PC, but like, I just, for the convenience sake, I just buy consoles, home consoles.
Yeah. Hold that thought.
Kind of
We will
defeats the
come back
object.
to this. You're making a great point, man. I hate to do this to you, but we will come
You
back
always
to
do,
this.
though.
No, I don't. That's not true.
Quit. Okay.
Yeah, sick. So there's all of that. I also fuck, hang on, was that? I guess we're on to Halo now. Hey, we did it. Congrats. Good job, everyone.
Yay, Halo. All right,
it's
well,
been-
you lead this shit, man. You go.
It's been 6 years since Halo 5. Do you know what I'm learning about myself a little bit?
Oh god.
We're getting very deep, you know, a bit of self-learning.
Mhm.
Not really. I just mean, turns out I am more emotionally connected to Halo than I thought I was. Because I know some people are really, it was like their childhood. And we played it a bit when we were younger. I probably played it. I'm probably not giving it enough credit. I did play it a lot. Obviously,
We played it loads.
I never played Halo 2 though. 3 and Reach were the big ones for me. I did like 4, but obviously didn't play as much as the other ones, and same goes for 5. Played through all the campaigns, played Master Chief Collection, all of that. And I will just start by saying, because the music is so god tier. It's not even it's I don't even know how to describe it. you know,
Please try, because I didn't get a fucking invite. So please try.
it goes something like this.
No, describe. Okay. Well, that's just
um,
this is regular Halo,
well, okay, well, you know my scale.
which is amazing.
My scale is like Near Automata God tier, and it's Near Automata God tier. So
Yeah. My God.
yeah, no, it's amazing. Like all of them, because they have like 4 composers working on the game. They've got like a couple of dudes from the previous entries, and the music of Halo has always been good, so that's not a change. But they've also got Gareth Coker, who did all the music for Ori as well. He's on the project as well, and you can tell because like it has a couple of like really subtle like swings to it that are just really like emotive, and so a lot of the music in there is like remixes on old ones, and they're like slightly more synthy and a bit more like hints of like electric as well, like electronic. It's hard to describe because it is just that good. It's so good. Just like the menu music. And I know I'm not alone. Like I've listened to other podcasts where people have felt the same way. And I sent you that link. Did you see it? It was like it's that scene from Interstellar where Matthew McConaughey is like watching the screen, and it's like his kids like growing old and they're dying because he's been in space. You know, like time is passing quicker for him, and he's just like crying, like, listening to the music. It's so good.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah, so I will start by saying that like proper god tier music. I mean, literally, this is only based on like the menu music, but if that's what the guest of the game is like, boy, we eating, we drinking, we coming back for seconds, we're getting dessert, we're going home, we're ordering Krispy Kremes Xbox edition. It's good, man.
Fucking hell, nice.
So I mean, obviously, like I'm finding it hard to know where to start. Because it was only in the last week we had like a reveal. There was like 5 separate videos on what will be in the flight, and essentially it's 4v4 versus bots. So you play with other people versus bots. You can go into the firing range, but I actually didn't know this. It's not just the firing range. There's like weapon drills, so you can like choose a weapon and you shoot, and then you get a score, and you get like 1 to 3 stars, which is really nice. It's a nice little touch. There was the Battle Pass walkthrough, Spartan customization overview as well. And we saw some gameplay of it running on Xbox One for the first time too. So there was all of that. And then obviously, as part of that, we got to test it this weekend. And by the time this is uploaded, it probably would have ended already. So I guess because I don't want to just talk for the next 10 minutes with no input from my boy. So like as someone who's like been watching it, what have you been thinking and what can I answer?
Damn, this was your segment. I was just going to go.
You've just tuned out, haven't you? You've just like put on music.
Yeah, I put on the soundtrack. Yeah. No. So okay, from what I've been looking at, it just looks really fucking fun, right? And I guess how well does all the gadgets and stuff like that sort of flow? Is it very smooth into the gameplay? Does it
the equipment?
Do you yeah, the equipment, yeah. Does it? Yeah, is the transition quite smooth? It's just
So nice.
It feels and it just flows nicely. Yeah,
it feels surprisingly fresh, and it has no right to feel fresh. Yes, is what I would say. And it's for a few reasons. Like they've like changed how. So obviously, like in the usual Halo, there's like pads on the floor. That's where you find your power weapons, your equipment, and all of that. I think actually, yeah. So all the stuff that's on the floor is equipment. So the equipment that we've seen so far is grapple hook, drop wall, pulse, like the recon scan thing that was new today. The active camo overshields. There's definitely something I'm forgetting. Don't know, but yeah. So they're on the floor, and then the power weapons are all on like weapon racks on the wall, and so that can be anything varying. That's basically everything. Like all weapons are like on a rack on the wall, and they're all treated as power weapons. So from the BR to the Needler to the new like Ravager. I'm pretty sure they're always on the wall. There are a couple of exceptions to that now that I think about it. and those weapons can be blown, like in the trailer with a grenade. So it comes towards you. I just took a clip of me doing that earlier. Actually, fucking smacked the gravity hammer over to me and caught it. It was sick. Yeah, it feels really good, man. It flows really nicely. Like I said, it does feel surprisingly fresh. And what is really nice is that because you have power weapons and equipment, you get it doubles the order, the variety, if not more, because it's just it's like multiplicative, multiplicative, mul.
Sure.
It does the big times.
Multi-ball.
It does the big times. Yeah, you know what I mean? So as opposed to just getting a grab hammer or just getting a grapple hook, you can have a grapple hook with a fucking grab hammer, and that is so cool. Do you know what I mean? And there's times where I've had a drop wall, and then I've had a Ravager, which is this big AoE, this new gun. And that's been you just sit behind it launching, and it leaves globs of shit on the floor that does damage over time, which is new for Halo in and of itself. But things like that, I really like that. And I remember us saying in coming off the back of E3, we were hoping that the stuff, the equipment, and the weapons were different every time you played, and it is. It's never fixed. So it's not always a sniper in that place. It's depending on the map. And again, that just adds so much variety because you don't know what you're going into or what that combination is going to be.
Is it going to do the thing where when you load into the map, it will display what's on show? So it'll just it will float over the sniper, it will float over the spy car. What equipment, grapple. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it shows you the big ones, but I quite like that everything that isn't in your arms when you start the game is treated as a power weapon. Maybe it's been like this in other games before, but it's it has its own pad. Even plasma grenades have their own little pad. So they're just very, and obviously they bounce around if they get hit as well. Stuff like that. So I just quite like that. And spike grenades. Let me tell you about spike grenades. I never gave a shit about spike grenades. They didn't do anything. They sucked. In Halo 3, they sucked. They didn't do anything. They're just worse frags. In this, you toss it like a throwing knife. It's so cool. So it flies through the air vertically and spins. And if you can stick with it, and it just sticks out of them directly, and then it blows up, and then you see loads of little orange needles flying around, and that's what it's a one shot kill if you stick. But they just feel so good to use. They go quicker and flatter as opposed to Lupia with plasmas. They're just really fun to use and things like that. So grenades, and obviously it's maybe the third part of that. Equipment, power weapon, and then grenades. All of that coming together for loads of variety feels so good. There is one more equipment I can't think of, man. It's really annoying me.
Well,
it'll come back to me.
While you think on it, I was also going to ask about the overall pacing of everything. How does it feel? Does it feel quicker than Halo 5? Does it feel like both in terms of movement and I guess TTK, and just factor in everything you would pick up as you go through the game, just try and give me an overall start to finish game. How does it feel speed wise?
Yeah. So in terms of the pacing of the moment to moment gameplay, combat, I remember seeing some of the first reactions when we started seeing it because some pros were playing, and the TTK seems quite quick, not mega quick, but quite quick, and people were oh my god, TTK is so quick. What is this, COD? So there was some mixed feelings about it, but since playing it, that's kind of all gone down because obviously we were watching pros who ping heads for a living. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like the time to kill is that quick. It feels good. I find it hard to I don't know how else to describe it. It's definitely not too slow. I don't think. How is it compared to Halo 5? Maybe similar. The thing is, it's very similar to Halo 5 in a lot of ways to Infinite. It's somewhere between 5 and 3. I'm not sure where it is on the scale. But Halo 5 felt very good. You know what I mean? Like the pacing of those fights felt very good. If you didn't like the armor abilities, I mean, that's fine. Obviously, they're gone now. But like generally, the time to kill, I thought in Halo 5 did feel good. Because I think it is a bit slower in Infinite now that I think about it, because in 5, time to kill was quicker to compensate for the fact that there was so much mobility, like with the thrusters and the hover and the fast sprinting.
Yeah.
So it's a bit slower, is what I would say. But that's ignoring the power weapons and the equipment and everything. Movement feels really good as well. I don't know if you've seen, there's been like this whole thing about people looking at sprint. Sprint does basically fucking nothing. It's there. You go like maybe 10% quicker. Like it's a really weak sprint, but it's there. Like if you want to get out somewhere, you still use it. Like you're not going to not use it.
Yeah.
And just like strafing and walking, I found myself doing that more often than not. And I know these are smaller maps, so you're more inclined to do that to keep your gun up.
Yeah.
But I like how that feels as well. It does feel nice that you, like most of your fights are just kind of, it's like kind of that classic Halo strafing and crouch. This sounds so stupid, but crouching feels really good. Halo's always been weird with crouching. Like you have to like hold it. If you get shot, you stand up. Like just weird shit. I could properly like spam it like we do in Apex, like bag shot.
Yeah.
Same with the jumping. Jump feels good as well. Yeah, I don't really know if I'm answering any of your question really.
No, you are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
and I guess there's just like bursts of speed, right? When you get like the grapple hook and stuff like that, which helps the equipment feel powerful, right? Which is the entire point of it. You wouldn't want a grapple hook to be underwhelming, right? You'd want to fling yourself a decent distance or get height on someone.
Yeah, and a couple of the equipments have, I think most of them do, have more than one use. Grapple has 3 uses on pickup. Drop ball has 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's nice. The recon pulse has 2 by default as well. And what's quite cool is you can stack them. So if you still have them and you find more, or someone's been holding whatever you meant, and it happened a few times. It's not that uncommon. You can have like at one point I had 5 drop balls. One point I had like 6 grapples. And then obviously if you die, someone gets to pick up those 6. So they can stack. There's probably a cap, but it's just that kind of sandbox. You can have a lot.
Is there like a cooldown in the grapple, or can you just like Spider-Man your way around the map if you have like 10?
There is a cooldown, but it's not long. It's like maybe a second or 2. So you probably couldn't fully Spider-Man, but maybe you could. You can do some wacky shit with it. It's very like Pathfinder-esque. You know, you can do that thing where if you keep looking at it, you'll fly around corners. Yeah, it feels good, man. It feels good. Nice. I haven't messed around with like, I know people have like grappled weapons and stuff because you can do that. I don't know what happens if you grapple a Spartan. I grappled a chicken.
Oh, that's great. How did that turn out?
Yep.
It blew up.
Yeah, it blew up.
You didn't just pull the chicken to you.
A mist of red blood. No.
Oh my god! It just blew up.
It just blew up, man. Yeah. Pacing honestly feels really good. The maps. I was like, when they showed the video for the map, the first one, I was like, and I remember seeing comments about it. I was like, I kind of agree. It kind of looks a bit like a COD map. This is like a 3-lane small map. Again, I think this is one of those things that was inflated by the fact that we were watching pros, and also we're against bots. So like you're like running around to find people to fight rather than like any sort of thinking. You know, you're not trying to. You know you're going to win. Like, nobody's lost a game against these bots. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
there is that as well. Once I actually started playing the first map, Live Fire, I was like, actually, this is good. This feels nice. And for how small it is, not once did I ever have a spawn problem, which I thought was actually quite commendable because they are small maps, and not once did I spawn with someone in my sights or did I get shot at like coming off spawn. So that was good, and they've since added 2 more maps. I think the second one was called Overcharge, and the third one's Bazaar, which is the one we saw in the trailer. It was like a market, and those 2 are better. Generally they're all good, but Overcharge is actually a fucking wicked map. Bazaar's pretty cool as well. Live Fire is probably the worst of the 3, but not because it's bad, just it's just basic, and that's fine. But it's just they are small maps generally. But this is Slayer, so yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not gonna have a map like that for BTP, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking
Yeah,
chaos.
yeah.
um, okay, cool. And then obviously you had a big boy hard on for the field of view option,
I did. Oh, I can't tell you how good
which
it is to have it.
yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, I'm so hyped for that as well. Like any shooter, it's the first thing I do when I get on a shooter now. If I get on a first person shooter, the first thing I do, I'm just like, hang on, fucking guys, wait, and I was like, pause, options,
Whack
field
that
of view.
shit up.
Yeah, it's the first thing I do, and I'm glad Halo has it because we even went back to 5 recently, which doesn't have it, and it was so zoomed in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like it was like my gun was in my mouth, and that's just what it felt like.
Yeah,
I didn't like it at all.
it is weird as well. Like Halo's always had quite a lot of aim acceleration because, like, simply because a lot of the game is like shooting accurately rather than lots of like zippy. You know, it's not a twitch shooter, so the game is like, okay, you're gonna want to not like be spinning really fast. But Halo Infinite feels just right actually. Like, it doesn't feel that way, especially it's made even better with the field of view. Being able to do that, so yeah, that was all really nice. I meant to say actually, they have made a change to how like the radar works. I haven't played a
I
first
was going
person
to
shooter
ask.
with a radar in ages. Bloody radar.
I was literally going to ask, is it, my next question was, is it classic Halo
Oh
radar
right.
or is
Yeah,
it,
there's radar.
okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
yes, but sprinting reveals you on the radar. Normal moving doesn't. So there is a
Interesting.
change. Yeah, there's a change in that regard. Is that you used to, um, obviously you could crouch to not be on the radar, but movement you'd show up. Any sort of movement you'd show up. Now, any sort of movement or crouching you
Interesting.
won't. But sprinting we will, and firing. If you're firing, you'll come up on the radar. Um, from what I've heard,
Hmm.
that this is like reasonably well received because people are like in previous games. There's been a lot of like radar whoring where you can just not do much and just watch radar and then just pre-nade and stuff like that. So it takes
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. So
And is it
that
a
was
relatively similar, like, distance, the radar as well? So, like, you'd only pick someone up within a certain distance of them
I think it's
sprinting.
bigger
Quite
than it
close.
was in yeah. I think it's bigger than it was in 5. 5 was really small. People didn't like it, and it was kind of. I do agree. It was like too small. It didn't feel right. It was like pointless to even have it there. It's a bit bigger, but it's
Especially.
not. It's not massive.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. I guess they're probably leaning more into the what you said earlier with the whole crouching, where now you can like spam it. I guess they're leaning more into the fact that the crouching can be used as like a combat tool now. You know, to make yourself harder to hit and to shoot and stuff like that. Especially as they've taken away the fact that crouching takes you off the radar now.
Yeah, you
Just all movement aside from sprinting takes you off the radar. So, yeah,
you
interesting.
you can tell every decision that's been made has been to push that skill ceiling up, and it's really
Yeah,
cool. There's just lots of like small stuff, like I said, obviously like the sandboxy stuff, blowing weapons over to you, the combinations of the equipment power ups, yada yada yada. But then there's things like that, like you can actually crouch in combat. Obviously, Halo's always been quite good in that you can jump, like jump shot, which that's not a thing in most first person shooters. Now you have that
yeah,
and crouching. Obviously, you don't have thrusters or anything like that, but because it's going back to that like fast strafing, there's lots of like strafe plays you can make, like just like how we do in Apex, but arguably a bit more because your natural movement speed is quite fast. So there's lots of like tracking, and sliding is back. So it doesn't. It's a lot better than it is in 5. I think it was only really in 5 because it was sliding was becoming a staple in first person shooters, and it was there, but it was like a fixed thing. You just slid a certain distance, and then that was it. In Infinite, it's
yeah.
like a bit more physicsy. It's not like proper Apex where you can like infinitely slide downhill. Um, Even though it was quite hard to test because the maps are quite small, like they weren't like massive ramps or anything. But it is a little bit, and there is a little bit of a speed boost there. So there are some jumps you can only make by doing a slide. By doing a slide jump, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so even though there is like you do clamber, but like it's with that in mind. So like with the slide jump, you'll make the clamber and then climb up, whereas otherwise with a normal jump you
Mm.
wouldn't. So there's things like that that are just you feel like all those decisions are very intentional. Like right, let's reward people who like experiment with the movement or like learn these jumps or perfect that movement tech. Yeah, and obviously nay
Mm.
jumping will be back as well, and all of that nice stuff.
Cool, cool, cool,
Hmm.
cool, cool. Um, yeah, and I guess probably one of the final things to touch on, I guess, is just how does it look?
How's it look? Um,
How does it
I th-
look?
I think it looks really good. Actually, this is one of those things where you watch it on YouTube and you're like, whatever. But it's really crisp. There's lots of detail. I can't fault it, to be honest. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be it's not going to compete for best looking game of the year because it's just most. I'm sure the single player is going to look fucking stunning, but the multiplayer
Mm.
does look really good because it's like 4K 60. Like we play Apex. Apex runs at 1440. So it doesn't even run at 4K. It's like double the resolution essentially, and you can tell it's just so crisp. And
Mm.
the I love the colors in Infinite. I don't know what they've done. Everything just really pops. Like the
A lot more
explosions,
vibrant.
the guns, the skyboxes. Like it does look genuinely really nice, and it's like because it's like gone back to that like classic art style. Everything is so clean. Like it's just minimal. And I was
Mm.
noticing this earlier because like usually in these sorts of games, if you go into a building and you look on a wall, there's like loads of shit like littered. There'll be like a window, like the board, like stuff on the floor. And in Halo, it's just not much. If there's something there, it's deliberately part of the sandbox, like a propane tank that doesn't like do damage, but like if it happens to get caught in the crossfire, it'll fly across the screen, stuff like that. So it's just clean and like all of it comes together to just make it look again like add to the crispness of it. Like it's the only word I can really use to describe it. It looks very very crisp and it's just because it feels so tight as well. It's nice, man. It's really nice.
Cool.
Um,
Cool, man. Well, it sounds
yeah,
like I mean, give me. Obviously, this is just a bit of a. This is a bit stupid because it's just a technical test. But give me a rating out of 10.
I love a good number. Um,
Number that shit.
yeah, I
3,
think that
right?
the thing that makes it the hardest to judge is the fact that we're still against bots, but the amount that accounts for is really small.
hmm
Like the amount that the game is going to change from switching from bots to real people is not going to be that much. The rest of it feels fucking stunning. It feels really good. I'm not just saying that because it's a Halo game. Me and you have been playing first person shooters for bloody years. It feels really good. It plays really nice, and like this is Apex Respawn makes some of the best feeling games, first person shooter games in the industry, maybe ever. Infinite feels just as good. It obviously doesn't feel like a COD, like the same engine kind of thing, but it feels really good and really nice. I would say as of right now, I'd give it like a 9. I'm really impressed.
Wow.
I wasn't expecting to like it this much, um,
Mm.
at all. I was hoping it would be good. I knew it would feel good. Like I said, Halo 5 multiplayer was good. I didn't find it like to be the competitive experience for me, but I did think it was
hmm
fun. Um, so I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it would be this. And like if there is map variety, if there's like um mode variety, it all works well. This could be like a proper 10 out of 10 multiplayer experience.
Yeah. Oh
I,
yeah.
I genuinely
Yeah.
believe that,
For
and
sure.
I think that there's like I've made in my notes here that I've got like for this Slayer mode at the very least with the smallness of these maps, I've got like a little bit of concern around like death balling and team shotting because I remember like
Mm.
I'm a bit worried about a coordinated team just rolling around as a 4. And because they're such small maps, you're only going to have 5 seconds until you've got the whole team on you again. So, like, unless you can mobilize against that, you're going to get kind of stomped. And, like, you're not even going to be able to compete for power weapons. I know they happen on different sides of the map to try and counterbalance that. So I have a bit of concern about that. But is that really different to most arena shooter games? Nah. Um,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, music amazing. Graphically looks fucking awesome. Gunplay feels great. The sandbox is so good. Um, yeah, it's all looking good. If there's anything that anybody's going to be down on, it's going to be the monetization, which I'm surprised you didn't ask me
Ooh.
about, like the battle pass stuff,
Yeah.
which doesn't feel bad. I think Infinite's had a bit of good PR actually about this, with their battle pass system and how they're going to do it, which is wicked. So,
Yeah.
the big thing. Well, there's two things that people have been like down on. I've seen. One is they've removed the red versus blue system. I don't know if you saw this. So in old Halo games, when you play Slayer or something like this, all your armor just goes to red or blue. They've gotten rid
Mm-hmm.
of that so that that Spartan you take into it remains the same colors you choose. And to do that, they call it the friend or foe system. Everybody has an outline, like a red outline, obviously, for enemy and blue for teammate. And some people have been like, "Oh, I can't tell who's who in this." I'm kind of like, "Shut up! You can. You're just being annoying. You can't. You're not like
Yeah.
running into people like, oopsie doops, thought that was a teammate." And
Mm-hmm.
so I understand maybe purists maybe don't like it because they love like the whole red and blue thing. And maybe there could be some work for like a custom option to do that so that you see that.
Yeah.
But it works
But
well,
you
and there's
you could.
loads of accessibility options. Like I've seen some people change the color to yellow for enemy outlines, so it's like classic Halo, where it's like the honeycomb kind of yellow shield explosion. So there's loads of options like that to make it work for you. I think it's a good thing. You can obviously the pros of it are quite obvious. Everybody gets to take their own Spartans. There's more variety on the battlefield. You can see what your dude looks
Yeah.
like. So that's one thing, which again I think is kind of a non thing because
Mm-hmm.
no other game does that. No other game removes your skin for a color, and we don't have
No.
a
Yeah.
problem with like noticing who enemies are. So whatever. The second one is also a thing that no other game does, but it's like a Halo thing, like the expectations of Halo. Is colors, primary and secondary colors are gone. You don't pick your own colors. I again don't know if you heard about this. Instead, there's like a shader system from like Destiny. Yes, that means colors are monetized. However,
Oh.
however, um, you start the game with like 10 colors, so like you can pick a basic color. So there's that. It's not like that's got, and then you unlock different, you unlock different combinations and stuff. So I will say I understand the cons of this, and I understand why people are down on it. Some people just don't like it on the principle that colors are getting monetized. Okay, and they would rather have the choice to pick their two colors and then just leave it like that for 1,000 hours. But the pros are obviously it keeps things fresh, it gives you more things to add to the loot pool, and it also means, which I found to be more so the case, that like custom design color palettes can be put in. So there are some skins that have more than two colors. Some skins have like multiple stuff, and it's like not always symmetric. And they've got this cool thing where there's like a little hexagon with hexagons around that single hexagon to like show you what how the coating is represented on your Spartan. And so some of them will be
Mm-hmm.
like, it'll be like silver at the top or like red on one side, blue on the other, and obviously that'll be like silver helmet, red arm, blue other arm. And there are some skins which are asymmetric, which I think is really cool. And there are some that have like patterns on as well, like like urban camo, as well as the colors. And that's just stuff you couldn't do with a primary secondary system. So I can see the pros of that are actually quite nice, and I do like the idea of there being like rare color coatings. Like, say there's one at the end
Mm.
of a battle pass and it's like gold and silver and it looks banging and it's got like, geometric shapes on it and it just looks amazing. And you see someone and you're like, that my dude has hit the battle pass. And again, that's
Yeah.
something you just couldn't have without that. So I think once we see more of it and once people get used to it, they'll become more accustomed to it. Again,
Yeah.
this isn't a thing that any other game does. No other game just lets you pick a color and then it's done with it. That's not a thing. This is just a thing that people are used to seeing in Halo 15 years ago.
Yeah.
In every other games, you have skins that you buy, and that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but the skins are normally more than just colors, right? It's normally like a decal color scheme sort of thing. Like most of the, I actually feel like most shooters, I don't know, well, not most shooters, but some shooters, you can just pick your color. You can just choose your color code over a decal. Like they don't charge
Can
you for the
you?
color code. And I could have sworn in one of the Halos they let you just have a color gradient and you could just move up and down and just pick your own color code, make it whatever you want. You make it like just some sort of browny greeny hue. I swear there was a Halo
Yeah,
game where you got that. Yeah, it just gave
yeah.
you the color
I'm pretty sure
gradient
you could
and a
do that.
cursor and you could just yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know, like
yeah. I'm pretty sure you could.
I don't know. It does kind of bum me out. But then like, the way you described it in the facts of like flexing and stuff like that, that is kind of cool, and I do quite like that. And I wasn't too annoyed with the way Destiny did their shading system. It was fine. So like there are positives to it, sure, but I think overall, like, is it? I mean, you could just give us a color grid, right? And just let us choose our color, and it just give us decals, or just give us like different finishes on the armor, like a matte finish, or a shiny finish, or a brass finish, or a
Mm.
and then we could just choose whatever color we wanted on it, right? Sort of how like Rocket League
Yeah,
does
like
it.
ultimately, I think you probably could make the argument that if you like took apart the current system and just made it into something that you could custom make, like you say, like the whole asymmetric side of it, the patterns, all the colors. Like, yeah, you probably could do that, but I think, as I say, I recognize the cons and pros, but the pros of it are that you have something to grind for. You do get more custom, not custom. You get more, like I guess, yeah, custom designed colors and coatings made by the team. And as a result, you get some really cool ones because, like I said, there are ones where like different parts of armor are shaded, and obviously they work on all your armor sets. So if you know you unlock armor how you think you would, different bits on the battle pass, or there's no like loot boxes or whatever. So I don't actually know how else you get them. There's like I'm sure there's like
Mm,
challenges and stuff, but yeah, you know what I mean. There's all of that, and
yeah,
there's more like modular parts to change in Infinite than there has been in any other Halo game. So there's
yeah,
lots of that, and then you unlock these camos. I don't know. I think it feels better than what people are making. I think a lot of people. I understand like in principle monetizing colors. I get it. Like you can still choose your basic colors, but so that has been pulled back a bit. But you'll get some stuff that you
yeah,
really like. I just got one that was like sea foam and yellow, and it looks sick. Like just the layout of it, because it's on like different places. Like it's not just a primary secondary thing. It's more complicated than that. Is what I'm trying to say, based on like
yeah,
the hexagon thing
yeah,
that I was telling you about. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean that one is slightly, I think, a little bit more justified that the community might not like it than the other issue. Um, but yeah, it's still not the end of the world for me. It's not in the scheme of things. It's pretty minimal, right?
yeah, but
Um,
it's like I say. We
so
we play Apex all the time. We don't have that option. We get
mhm.
skins from a loot drop or we buy it, and you've got to remember, Infinite
Yeah,
is a free to play game. Infinite multiplayer. Sorry.
yes,
So,
yeah, for sure.
hey, can you blame them?
No, yeah, and when you do factor in that, yeah, it's definitely not a deal breaker, at least for me. But I do like to think we're probably a little bit, a
We've got
little
a high
bit more,
tolerance.
yeah, a little bit more accepting to these things than the general gaming audience,
I
I'd
won't be
say.
sending death threats if that's what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't be letter bombing the developers' houses.
Yeah, I'll fly a
Um,
plane into their
so
house.
yeah, okay. As with every game, It's going to have its negatives. It's going to have its positives, right?
Yeah.
At least they're trying new stuff, and it will do a good job at keeping the game feel fresh outside of just solely competitive, right? Solely just trying to be the best. It, for the casual players, it gives more things to chase. It gives more things to do. So, right, I'm not too bothered.
There's
Cool.
also like a store tab, which just it really reminded me of Apex. Like, there's just a tab,
Yeah.
where there's like, oh, get these 4 camos for this much currency. In the flighting, they give you like 3,000 currency, so you just obviously none of it carries over, but it's to test the battle pass. And you can buy some stuff in there if you want. And it all looks clean, it all looks nice. And I think everyone's got to remember, again, this is free to play. Of course, there's going to be monetization. It's not in loot boxes. There's just a store. If you see it, you want it, you buy it. It's about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and there's like shaders for each gun as well, for like different types of guns. I'm trying to say different weapons. Yeah.
I'm sure it leaves room for more creative things as well. Like, I'm sure there'll be some really cool like animated skins and stuff like that for Spartans and guns. So, they've probably got an entire creative team that's designing these things, and let's be honest, they can do a better job than us, especially with more tools than, like you said, just a primary and secondary option for colors. So yeah, cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, overall, like, super positive experience. I could probably talk about this for ages and ages and ages, but I'm sure people are just bored of listening to me gush about a fucking flighting test. So I'll probably stop here.
What
Yeah.
one thing before we go, I
Yeah.
kind of hope they bring back armor effects.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like
Oh, cool.
those. I liked the fact that I could blow
Well,
up with confetti, or I
yeah,
had hearts, little cartoon
yeah,
hearts following me, or I had like a stink cloud or something. I like that.
yeah.
I hope they bring that back.
I didn't see anything like in the menus that indicated that was there, but there is a tab that's like grayed out that has other stuff on it.
Mm.
And if they are directly being influenced by Reach, they're on record saying it many times. But also, I think this is one of those things that might fall into the shaders. Like a really rare shader might have a dynamic effect on the armor. Do you know what I mean? Like a glowing arm or something like that. So, if they're going to be premium colors and premium prices, they could do that, and I think that would really sweeten the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, there's definitely lots of inspiration they can take from a lot of games out there.
The
To
AIs.
improve on this.
The AIs. You liked that, didn't you? You like the look of the AIs, the like the personal AIs.
For yes, of course. Yeah, they look really fucking cool. Yeah.
So
that's a prime example. Yeah.
And I was just going to say like the experience with them, because like you can customize. So there are like different personalities, and they're just represented by like little shapes. And I will say as well, it's really cool. Throughout all of the menus, like no matter what tab you go into, your Spartan is there with you. So like when you're at the weapons table, your Spartan's like leaning over the table, like looking at the different weapons. Like if you go to the AI bit, he's holding the AI. I don't know, it's just a bit weird, but it's just like this cool like approach where they really want that Spartan to feel like your Spartan, and they go with you to all the store pages. Really weird small thing, but I just wanted to say.
Yeah, man.
So you can like change the color of the AI as well, because they like pop up sometimes.
Okay.
And yeah, they're a lot of fun. Like I've only tried 2 so far. One was called like Butler. One was the one I've got at the moment's like a little bit cheeky, a little bit sarcastic. But yeah, no, they are a lot of fun. Like they just add like a nice bit of variety to the games. Yeah, it's a wicked idea. It's one of those things that we saw and we were like, oh, that sounds awesome, and I'm glad it is, because it's a cool idea that's just well executed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and that's
that definitely looked cool to me, the whole AI thing.
Yeah, and that's one of those things you can see like loads of stuff like for battle passes. Like we've spoken about like the possibility of crossovers and stuff before, haven't we?
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing I'd pour a lot of money into, right? like, and they know it. They cheeky little bastards. They know it. It's like an heirloom, right? Because it will change. That will freshen up the gameplay loop so much for you. Just
Yeah,
every time you kill something, every time you do something that you've done a million times, it feels different. Now you've got a different narration and a
yeah.
different, like that kind of stuff's cool. Like it's really awesome.
And I will say it's nice that it's not overdone because Halo's always been quite like known for like their announcer voices, right? So like you could imagine a place where they try and do too much, and your AI and the announcer that just won't shut the fuck up, and there's like Spartan chatter, but it's not like that at all. Like they'll say something every now and then. They don't do it all the time, but like there's a surprising amount of voice lines. Like they've got a voice line for um like different maps and like different weapons. So they'll call out like the sniper rifle in their own cheeky way, depending on which one you've got. Um, and I guess that leads me. I keep saying I want to stop talking about this, but there's just a lot to speak about. Um, they're fuck. Do you remember in Halo 5 when the beta came out and they had the bits at the beginning where like the cameras and everybody like rocked up and they're like, yeah, ooh. And then it got removed because everyone was like, I don't want bro Halo in my game. That's kind of back. I never mind. I kind of liked it, whatever. I think it's a cool way to show off your Spartan at the beginning of the match. And they never adjusted it. They were too scared to go back. So for all of Halo 5's life, it's just dudes standing there. And then you go into the game. It's weird.
Yeah.
And so like it does this, and I love like the camera work on it as well. So I know like part of the single player is that they want it to be like one camera shot, and a lot of that ethos carries through to multiplayer as well. So the game starts up, it like goes to each player on your team. They have their own like stance or pose or whatever, and then it pans out, and then the camera goes into your visor, and that's how the game starts. It like seams from that
That's
into the
cool.
game. There's no like black screen or anything.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool way to do it. I'm kind of into that. I kind of like it. I think it's cool.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. I haven't seen anybody complaining about it, so I think they've like toned down the broness of it a little bit.
Thank God.
It's a bit buggy at the moment though. Every now and then it starts and somebody's like the wrong way around. They're like their backs to the camera. They're like, Jeremy, turn around.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So there was that, and then there's Spartan chatter. You can turn it off. So what I mean by that is like in game, there's like it's like diegetic. So like the you can hear the Spartans calling stuff out, but sometimes some of the stuff they say is kind of stupid. I'm just saying, I don't mind it. It's fine. They don't overdo it, but every now and again, they'll be like, well, I really smoked that guy, and they'll be like, what are you doing? Oof. What are you doing? Why are you saying that?
Yeah, oof.
Yeah, oof. So, yeah. Is there anything else?
Okay.
Is there anything else? No.
That was a very in-depth discussion, and we're probably going to have to blitz the last two topics quite quick now.
No,
we're good. We've covered Halo Infinite quite nicely.
No more.
So,
there's just one more thing.
Hopefully, I'll get. I don't know when the next flighting is, but hopefully, I'll get an invite to the next one.
Yeah, hopefully, man. I'd love for you to play it because I know it was.
Next one might not be with bots, might be with people.
Supposedly, they're going to be upping the bots. By the way, the bots are really good. Fuck, I'm doing it again. Yes. Yes. I hope you get in.
Cool. All right, let's do it. That's fine. That's good.
Wicked. Yeah, super cool. Super cool. Really impressed. Dead happy to play. So, as for sort of the back bits, then, we're at, as is aptly named on my notes section. This is the Sony section. The doopy doop doo. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I'm going insane when I'm like writing to myself in Google Docs, and I think it's funny and it's not. So, where do we start? Do we start with this? Yeah, okay, we start with this. We touched on this earlier. Previous CEO of PlayStation said, and I quote, "It's very hard to launch a $120 million game on a subscription service charging $9.99 a month." And so he was kind of saying that he doesn't feel like Games Pass is a sustainable thing. They didn't use that word, but they were like, game streaming services. And there was like his whole like the title of the article, he was saying like consolidation is the enemy of diversity. Very much a jab at like all the acquiring that Xbox has been doing. It was a bit of a weird one. I don't know. I think some of the takes in there were a bit spicy, and I don't know how you can say that Games Pass isn't sustainable when it doesn't adversely affect game sales. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like people are doing that and Microsoft are getting less money net because they're getting a good deal on Games Pass for now, assuming no price raises or anything. People are still buying the same amount of games like at retail. In actual fact, their data shows that people are buying a little bit more because they're going into genres and territories they weren't usually, or they buy it when stuff comes off the service. So it's a bit of a weird
Yeah.
one. I don't know if you have anything particularly to say about this. Especially him saying like consolidation is the enemy of diversity. That's kind of a second. We'll go on to that afterwards. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it comes across a little bit petty, doesn't it? That's really just what it comes across as. Um, yeah, I mean, the evidence is kind of stacked against him. I don't know where he's pulling this information from, because, like you said, it's not exactly directly even affecting game sales. So yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to say on the facts that maybe he's a little bit salty.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, but I guess maybe as well, like he's coming from an understanding of like the PlayStation model. And this is me probably just sounding like a pleb because the dude works at the CEO of like one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, so I'm sure he knows them more than just PlayStation. But in my head, the PlayStation model was always very much big single player release. The money we make is sales of that game, but like the games industry, there is upsell. It's not like buying a movie. You buy a game, there's upsell, there's microtransactions, there's DLCs, there's sequels. So
Yeah.
it's not kind of the same. So when you're saying it's hard to launch that game, well, it's like Sony don't typically make games as monetization. They launch them at full price, and that's something which doesn't generate as much profits. Straight up, like
Mm-hmm.
doesn't impede the success of the game or the sales or the amount of money that. Well, I mean a little bit, but there's less profit to be made without all of those slimy monetization tactics. One way
Mm-hmm.
or another, it's just the truth of it. So that there's that as well. That it's kind of like thinking of all games as this kind of one and done deal. That's like very much his perspective and how he's been working at Sony.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. PlayStation details storage expansion. So this is cool. I've literally in my notes here, I've like copy and pasted something from Reddit. So thank you, user HHKK47. You've really done me a solid. I didn't want to type this up,
Nice.
and it's very bespoke, your comment here. So thanks for that. I don't even know how to start with this, dude. You may recall when the Series X and the PS5 were revealed, there was a lot of shade coming towards Philly Spencer for making a proprietary thing. People were saying, "Oh, it's going to be so expensive." I mean, yes. However, you have to perform some feat of engineering to get to expand your storage for the PlayStation. And worst of all, is that you can buy like none of them are Sony's SSD is very custom. It's custom made. You're not going to be able to find that on the market. So you're always going to be
Yeah.
getting different performance out of your external. It's
Yeah.
not going to be better. It's not going to be better unless you're. I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, maybe I'm being a knob, but like Sony's SSD is fucking sick. It's everybody knows it. So you're just going to be getting a worse SSD for kind of the same price. Like a lot of people, I don't think I've actually got it in my notes here, but somebody else had said in the comments, these were all like 200 quid, which is the same
Mm.
price as the proprietary SSD, and they're all 1 terabyte as well. So I only see downsides here. Help
Yeah.
me understand.
Yeah. It's weird, right?
It's weird.
Yeah, there's multiple downsides just from the fact that, like you said, it's time, it's knowledge, and it's expertise that you expect the end user, the customer, the consumer to perform to upgrade their console. That's a negative. Stupid. Like, people who buy home consoles do it for the convenience sake of things. They don't want to start unscrewing it. And I don't know how this is going to affect warranties or anything like that, because normally if you it's like I could upgrade the SSD in my MacBook Pro, which is soldered into the logic board. I
Yeah.
could I could probably find out how and do it, but it voids the warranty, right? So I obviously I'm sure Sony's thought about this, but um, that is also a question mark to me. And then yeah, it's just the fact that people have to do so much research to find out what they're
Yeah.
doing, what they need to buy. It's really not that much cheaper at the end of the day than just getting a plug and play that is what Microsoft and Xbox do. It's not that much cheaper, if any. The performance will be worse as well. So if you were to have games running on your internal over your external, I don't know if you're going to see performance issues or slight, probably very, very
Well,
minimal
actually, I
differences, I
could see this
guess.
being a real problem because for like PlayStation exclusives, like suppose like they're going to be games that fully like suck everything out of these SSDs. So if you're plugging in an
Yeah,
SSD which is less, is it as straightforward
yeah,
as things just won't load in quicker? Like I feel like there are some scenarios where like if the SSD is
I don't know.
directly like one to one linked with the game design, then how can that be the case? Again, this is I
Yeah,
fucking know nothing about this, but it seems that
it's
this
weird,
could be a
and
problem.
you would have thought it would affect the development process as well. Maybe they
Yeah,
need to have like a back door sort of entry to be like, oh, and if you're running it on this kind of SSD rather than the custom internal, and have some ifs and all that kind of stuff there. So yeah, it might affect performance, it might affect just development. Um, it's just weird. I kind of agree. I see nothing but negatives, really. It's odd. It's very odd to me.
yeah. Because I mean, this is one of those things. Do you remember? Okay, Xbox do have some peculiar naming conventions, shall we say? And people would say like, oh, what about little Timmy? What about grandma who goes to the shop and they're like, oh, what Xbox do I get? Like, I don't know. Get
Hmm.
the Xbox. I want the Series One 360 on the X. And like, there was like an idea that people are going to get confused with games. I don't doubt that does happen because Xbox's naming conventions can be a bit weird.
Yeah,
Fine.
kind of stupid.
But like, this is one of those things where I think if you put an external SSD down on your Christmas list, like, good fucking luck. Like, not a chance. Like, nobody's going to know what
Yeah,
to do unless you get like like an actual expert to
Amazon
come and help
link.
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Send them the exact link on Amazon. Yeah.
I guess the thing to you could circumvent it a little bit um by Sony just partnering up with someone and like just making one and being like, well, this is our designed one. But then it just kind of defeats the
It's,
point. It's like, why have you gone to all of this effort if you were going to make a proprietary, well, not proprietary, but you know what I mean, like a first party one anyway?
hmm,
Because that's what Xbox did. They partnered with was it Seagate? Yeah, I think Seagate.
I
Um,
think it was Seagate. Yeah.
and it's exactly the same. So like, you know what to expect. And it's just weird because this is, we're in August now. If you had a PS5, you couldn't expand your storage. You,
Yeah.
you still can't really, unless you can get your hands on some of
Yeah.
these.
Now they just wax a massive Bible down in front of you. Like, if you want to
Yeah,
extend it, here you go.
yeah,
Screwdrivers not included.
yeah, exactly. And you've got to like unscrew it. Oh, it's such an effort. And like, yes, okay, you're not really taking out SSDs and putting them back in that often. If I'm
Yeah.
taking my Xbox somewhere, I do take it out. But I guess if you've built it in internally, you'd probably just leave it there. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it doesn't strike me as like super good design, and it's one of those things where like Xbox has been killing it in terms of like simplicity, convenience, and the PlayStation 5 just strikes me as a console
Just
which,
usability.
yeah, it didn't have that in mind. The downloading, the cross gen. backwards compatibility, all of that, and now this as well. Is really weak, to be honest. So this was a weird one. Especially that there are like Sony actively recommends that for some, and they won't tell you which, for some SSDs, you need to buy a heatsink. That just absolutely blows my mind. It's like, did you not think that was a bad idea?
Yeah, it's definitely something you can tell they kind of, once they were done with everything, they were like, oh, we forgot about this.
So extendable storage, yeah.
And they were just like, oh, okay, we got to make something here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the PS5 has like 20% less storage than Series X. Series X has what we had, 800 gigabytes. It's like a terabyte, but with the internal stuff, it's like 850, whereas the PS5 has 600. So it's like it's even less. Like it's even more of a pain point. Like, yeah, I don't know. This would be something that would kind of piss me off. And like I know you can store games on HDD and copy and move them, and that's like fine. But again, like we shouldn't be having to do that. Even on Xbox, I would still say, it's a bit annoying. Like it's fine, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree. It's just an inconvenience for the consumer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think they need to get this shit together. I think it's a bit weird, but
okay. So, as we come to our final story, then, two sources. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but two sources now. Jeff Grubb initially, now Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg, have said that they believe Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed to 2022. Now, this is relevant to Xbox, and I also want to say that this is a shame. We are just two gamer boys. We're not here trying to bang the drum on. I know that was a negative story on PlayStation, but we're not. I'm not trying to shit on anyone's fun. Because game looks sick, game looks banging. It may be delayed, which obviously no big deal. Like nobody cares. Like delay games, we all know what to expect when it comes to delay them. Delay them, make sure it's good at launch. Nobody cares. There's just been a pandemic, mate. We had to sit through Halo Infinite for another year after it was meant to be coming out in like next month. So, boys, we feel you. Boys and girls, we feel you. You'll be fine. But what this does mean for Xbox is that all of a sudden, 2021 is becoming an Xbox year, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
From this point, from Death Door, Ascent, Flight Simulator, even this year, Halo Infinite, Psychonauts 2, Horizon, Forza Horizon, there's more, I'm forgetting. 12 minutes. Fuck yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a pretty good year for Xbox. Probably the best year we've had in like half a decade. And the absence of this, and the thing is, this isn't the first one. Sony, when they had their showcase last year, said, God of War, as we promise, 2021, better buy our console. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sony.
You're welcome. God of War, Horizon, Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank. Obviously, Ratchet and Clank made it, but the other three have all been pushed out of 2021. Halo's not getting delayed again. Forza Horizon's not getting delayed because Playground are perfect. Psychonauts 2 isn't getting delayed. I know it's multiplayer, but whatever. Just you see what I mean. So it creates suddenly this big window where for the first time, I would say maybe in 8 years, where Xbox has a stronger first party lineup than Sony.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that statement.
It feels good, man.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I kind of thought Horizon 2 was coming out in 2022 anyway. I didn't think it was a 2021 release.
You're just a silly goose. Yeah, no, it's a 2021. It was meant to be full.
I didn't realize. Okay, all right, fair. I mean, that game looked crazy cool and crazy good from the footage I saw of it.
Yeah,
and I assumed it was still a long way off. It's like they promised Ragnarok was going to be in 2021, didn't they? Like
I
there
did.
was no chance that was happening. I thought Horizon very much suffered from the same thing. I just assumed it was 2022. But yeah, right. It sucks. It sucks to see a really cool game get delayed. Regardless of what platform you choose to support, Horizon One was sick. I haven't played it myself, but I've watched people play it, and I know you've played it and you love
Yeah,
it.
I've completed it. Yeah, it's good.
Both
Really good.
both my brothers absolutely love it and have completed it. So yeah, it just sucks, man. And yeah, it does benefit us at the end of the day. It gives Xbox that foot in the door to just basically
A
lay
breathing
claim
room.
to 2021. Yeah, exactly. And it's just
Yeah.
like, we can just sit back now and just be like, let's churn out, what people know are coming and what people are looking forward to,
Yeah.
and no pressure, right?
Yeah.
You've kind of already put a stamp on the year and said, we kind of owned this year. And let's make sure our 2022 releases don't get delayed and can
Yeah.
compete with these coming out in 2022 as well, right?
2022 is such a stacked year at the moment. Not just not an Xbox thing.
It's crazy. Yeah,
There's going to
just
be
in
Horizon.
gaming, just everywhere.
Yeah, there's going to be Horizon. There's going to be Breath of the Wild 2. Probably God of War, Elden
Yeah.
Ring. I'm sure there's some Xbox games that are slated for 2022 that I can't put my finger on at the moment.
Starfield.
A fucking Starfield. God damn it, that year is huge. Yeah. So this just makes it even bigger. But yeah, I think there was
Outer
a
Worlds
time.
2 was 2022 as well.
Outer Worlds. Oh, was it? I don't think it got.
I'm pretty sure it was just like 2022, right? Or maybe no, I don't think it did, because they had the joke where their trailer was just like, "This is all the footage we have."
Yeah,
so I'm gonna just
it gives you no information whatsoever. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, it's a crazy stacked year. Yeah,
and this is obviously Halo's going to be coming out probably November, maybe December. But I think it's just quite interesting because I think Sony had kind of crushed it on launch. They had Demon Souls remake. It's a remake, but still, I mean, game's a banger. Game's timeless.
yeah.
Miles Morales was day one as well, I think, wasn't it? Or was it maybe a month afterwards?
Yeah, I think it was day one. I think.
Then Returnal and recently Ratchet and Clank. So they've been kind of crushing it.
Yeah.
But it does, with Horizon not making this year, it makes a very big hole that Xbox have plugged, essentially. So we're finally hitting that point where it's like, oh, right, we're going to start getting games now, whereas Sony have kind of blown their load quite kind of early and then wait until next year a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's sad but good. Sad good.
It's sad but good. No biggie. 2022, big year. 2023, even bigger for Xbox anyway. Oh, God, I'm fell out of breath. Did I talk a lot this episode? Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah.
I felt, yeah.
Yeah, I could have basically just not been here. No, okay. Yeah, you talked a lot.
Still drunk.
In the Halo Infinite section. I just probed you with a question, and then you just went off on a tangent, and then I just probed you with another question, but that's fine.
I loved it.
Whatever. You steal the show every week anyway, so.
Oh, don't you hit me with that.
I had Death's Door last week, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
that was all you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. No, I was about to say something I was going to regret.
You're going to commit something.
I'm going to have it completed by next week.
Where is my Resident Evil and Undertale review that you promised in episode 1?
Well, stop inviting me to Apex then. Stop messaging me saying Apex, and then maybe I will play those games. You little weasel.
Not if you get invited to the next flighting, because then we eat in some Halo.
Oh, mate, that's nothing I want to do more than shoot bots.
It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes episode 18 of QRP. Thanks for joining us today. It's been great seeing you all again. Truly.
Yeah.
We're going to get some sleep. It's quite late here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, man, do you have anything to say? Any closing words?
I don't know. It was a fun episode. There was lots of stuff to talk about. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I hope everyone else did as well.
I'm so excited to talk about
And
Halo more.
obviously, yeah, I mean, we love that.
I'm just buzzing. I don't know. I'm on a high at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, I do believe you probably are high. Um, so yeah, no, yeah, it was good. And you know, I guess just closing off with you know, give us a like, give us a sub, give us a share. You know, we're a small channel.
Small
You enjoyed
independent.
it.
Yeah,
I'm sure your friends will too, right?
of course.
So just share around. You know, it doesn't take much of your time. You're ungrateful.
Yeah.
You're consuming free content. Don't make you. You
Well,
know
Tim.
what? And yeah, follow our Twitter. Our Twitter's banging.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's amazing. It's one of the best, guys. It's been a pleasure. We'll speak to you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. It's not. I can't. It's not stopping. Can I stop it?